Hey all, Jason Levon, priest at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Welcome to another Pause and Pray. Those of us living here in the Midwest have been navigating an unseasonably warm September and now October. And here in Milwaukee, that means people are out and about trying to soak up this summer-like weather because we know it's not going to last forever. So shorts and t-shirts and flip-flops abound outside. I was on a walk recently in our local park, and I noticed two different people taking refuge in the shade, in hammocks. One was taking refuge in a nap, the other in a book. And it got me thinking about the need for myself and for all of us from time to time to find some sacred shade in our lives, because there's all sorts of sources of heat that we find in our lives. For some of us, that heat comes from unreasonable expectations in the workplace or even in families. Still, for others, that heat might come from the tension of an unraveling relationship. And for many of us, we kind of create our own heat with our tendency to fall so quickly into self-criticism and self-doubt. However that heat comes, we all find ourselves needing from time to time the gift of some sacred shade in which to find refuge. The good news for us is that as we look to Scripture, our God is willing and wanting to offer that sacred shade to us. Our psalmist in Psalm 121 celebrates that kind of work of God in verses 5 and 6, reflecting on God as a shade for us, so that the heat and light of the sun doesn't strike us. And in that we find a holy invitation today to pause and pray, reflecting on how we in our own lives come to find refuge in some sacred shade. Maybe it comes when we actually give ourselves permission to undergo and undertake some self-care in our lives by exercising or by getting that massage or taking that day off. Maybe we find that gift of sacred shade in the skills of a therapist that helps us develop healthy boundaries in the midst of unreasonable expectations. Or maybe we find it in the courage to go out, hang up a hammock, and get lost in a nap or a good book. Just some of the many ways we find our lives enveloped by that sacred shade of God and all of the peace and comfort it brings as we continue to navigate some warmer days in our lives. God's peace and blessings to you all.